in Liverpool after 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell was killed by a masked gunman who was chasing another target. Concerns about no-grass culture. We will be live in Dovecote as the community and criminals are urged to come forward.
This crosses every single line that anybody could ever have, even a hardened criminal could have. A 9-year-old girl has been shot dead in her own home.
This morning, we want victory, not peace. Ukraine's President Zelensky marks 6 months since the war with Russia began, as shelling continues.
Having gone through so much, we have no right not to reach the end. What is the end of the war for us? We used to say peace. Now we say victory.
15 million people across southern England are banned from using hose pipes from today. Good morning. It was around bedtime on Monday that a stranger burst into the home of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell and fired the shot that injured her mother and killed her. A manhunt is now underway, and police and community leaders are concerned about the long-established no-grass culture, have urged anyone with information to come forward. Let's have a look back now at the moments before Olivia's death. At about 10 p.m, 2 men approached from the Finch Lane end of Kings Heath Avenue in Dovecote. Olivia's mother opened her door and a 35-year-old man pushed his way into the house. The gunman followed and got his hand in the door. He fired a shot which went through Olivia's mother's wrist and hit the 9-year-old in the chest. Now, the gunman entered the house and continued firing before escaping on foot. A dark-coloured Audi then collected the 35-year-old man from the front of the house, taking him to hospital while Olivia laid dying in her mother's arms. Let's speak to our correspondent, Fraser Maud. He's live at the scene in Dovecote in Liverpool. And Fraser, a national sense of shock, really, at what's happened.
Absolutely unbelievable, the situation that unfolded here on Monday night. It almost beggars belief, the sequence of events that you've just explained there. And the more detail that came out, the more shocking this became. It shocked the entire community around here. It's clearly people in Liverpool. The incident happened on the 15th anniversary of the shooting of Rhys Jones, an 11-year-old boy who was shot dead as he returned home from football practice 15 years ago to the very day that Olivia was shot. And in the meantime, police said that they've been working hard for the past 15 years to clamp down on organised crime and to clamp down on violent crime. They're carrying out a series of raids this morning in order to fight back against serious and organised crime and the use of firearms in the city. Those raids have been taking place this morning. We'll be able to bring you more details of those as we get them from Merseyside Police. Here at the scene, forensic officers have returned to the scene now. They're continuing their investigations. They were desperate to bring whoever was responsible for this to justice, and police are saying that people need to come forward. Someone will have that vital piece of evidence that they need. Earlier this morning, we spoke to Sir Peter Fahey, the former Commissioner of Greater Manchester Police, and he gave his view on the effects of violent crime and gun crime can have on communities like this.
What we saw with this awful murder is the fact, just the sheer the callousness and the viciousness of some of these gangs who are prepared to use horrendous level of violence. That's how they maintain their power and their intimidation. Sometimes innocent members of the public get caught up in that, but often when criminal members suffer the most horrendous injuries, they refuse to cooperate with the police or tell the police what's happened because either they want to exert their own revenge or just out of fear.
Well, meanwhile, Olivia's mother, Cheryl, is still in hospital recovering from a gunshot wound to her wrist, and the 35-year-old man who appears to have been the intended target of this attack is also in hospital. He received treatment and surgery for his gunshot wounds yesterday. So far, he is not in a fit state to talk to police. He remains in hospital, not under arrest, with police obviously desperate to talk to him to see what information he can give. The investigations here continue. House-to-house inquiries, CCTV footage is being sifted through, and the forensics officers are back here trying to gather as much evidence as they can. In the meantime, the number of flowers and soft toys here at the scene, by way of tribute to Olivia, is continuing to grow. I'll give you an idea of what some of them say here. One of them, R.I.P. baby girl, can't believe what has happened, feels like a nightmare. We will miss you so much, our sassy queen. Another one says, our Liv, our brown-eyed sassy pants. I will never find the words to describe the heartache we have all felt. I will miss all the joy, laughs, smiles and loves that you brought to our lives. Going to miss you the world, baby girl, simply says another. The police say that someone will have the information that they need in order to bring this gunman to justice. They say that they shouldn't be led into any false sense of honour in terms of not bringing information to them. They can do that anonymously if they want to, but they say someone has the key to finding the man who committed this dreadful crime.
Fraser, thank you. Well, local media in Liverpool and Merseyside have been pushing for people to come forward with any and all information they have. One of the most impactful leads was this one on the Liverpool Echo. Their front page asks, whose side are you on? And asks people to put themselves in the place of Olivia's family. Earlier, we spoke to the paper's political editor.
We put out a strong front page today, which is simply asking people, whose side are you on? You know, there is in Liverpool and in other areas there is this kind of suggestion of an anti-grass culture in some areas, of a sort of code between criminals. But you know, the chief constable yesterday, Serena Kennedy, put it well when she said, this crosses every single line that anybody could ever have, even a hardened criminal could have. A 9-year-old girl has been shot dead in her own home. You know, you have to look within yourself and think, even if you are involved in that world, surely this is the line. We saw, you know, there are parallels with the killing of Rhys Jones, which in a sort of tragic coincidence was 15 years to the day that Olivia was killed. And there was a sort of wall of silence in parts of that community in Croxteth, where people knew who Sean Mercer was. They knew who was involved in the killing of Rhys Jones, but for a while they were either too afraid to come forward. There were other people who didn't feel they should come forward, but eventually people did, and eventually the police were able to get the upper hand and put those people away, and that's what needs to happen here in Dovecot.
Well, after the shocking news, we also had this reaction from Shadow Justice Secretary Steve Reed.
Clearly we're not. I mean, how is the supply of guns and knives so prolific that people can get these weapons and use them in these ways? We did some research in the Labour Party just a couple of weeks ago that showed that prosecutions and convictions for people using knives to maim and to kill had actually gone down rather than gone up. And that was despite the Conservatives being elected on a manifesto pledge to toughen it up. 3 strikes and you're out. They said, actually, that has not happened. And when the system goes soft on that kind of killing, on that kind of crime, criminals take courage and they go out and do more of it. We absolutely have to understand what is going wrong in the system.
Now, it's been 6 months since Vladimir Putin gave the order to invade Ukraine. More than likely, he expected a swift victory, taking out the government in Kiev and carving up the rest of the country from there. But he didn't count on the staunch resistance of the Ukrainian people and the unprecedented resolve of the international community to stop him. Today is also Ukraine's Independence Day, marking 31 years since it left the Soviet Union. It sparked concerns in Kiev that Moscow may be planning strikes. The impact of the war on civilians in Ukraine has already been enormous. 5,587 civilians have been killed. That's according to the United Nations, although this is likely a significant underestimate. A further 7,890 have been injured since the war began. Meanwhile, over 6.6 million people have been internally displaced, and a similar number have fled across Europe, with most traveling to Poland or Russia. Well, President Volodymyr Zelensky has addressed the Ukrainian people in a video message today, saying the last 6 months have changed the world.
24 лютого вся Україна почула вибух.
On February 24th, the entire Ukraine heard explosions and gunshots. And on August 24th, it wasn't supposed to hear the words Happy Independence Day. On February 24th, we were told you have no chance. On August 24th, we say Happy Independence Day, Ukraine. During these 6 months, we changed history, changed the world, and changed ourselves. Because having gone through so much, we have no right not to reach the end. What is the end of the war for us? We used to say peace. Now we say victory.
Our correspondent Alistair Bunkle is in Kiev this morning.
No celebrations because of the threat of further Russian airstrikes, and I think because there is an awareness that the fighting continues on the southern and eastern front lines, and inevitably today more people will lose their lives. Instead, we've moved down to Kreshadek, which is the main street that runs through the centre of Kiev, an old sort of Soviet wide-style boulevard that has been turned now into this kind of monument, if I can put it like that, for destroyed Russian military hardware. Look at the bullet holes on this one, for example, a massive hole blown out of the side of it. You can see in some of the tracks as well the cloyed mud from where many of these vehicles, you'll remember a number of months ago, got stuck in that infamous column outside of Kiev as they tried to advance on the capital. Of course, President Putin had planned that they would take this capital city within days. President Putin is a leader who likes a military parade. He would have had visions of Russian military hardware driving up here in victory. That is not the case. This is testament to the failure of the Russian war effort to try and not only capture the capital city of Kiev, but to try and take Ukraine. Instead, they find themselves bogged down in a conflict that has now run for 6 months and will run for much longer. The front lines are moving by a matter of meters. That's it at the moment. This is also testament to the Ukrainian resistance against the Russian invasion. And that is why today, albeit that celebrations have been cancelled, official celebrations have been cancelled, thousands of residents of Kiev are coming down to take photos down here. Many of them are wearing the national dress of Ukraine. And of course, they will be very aware of what is going on in the east and on the south, and the sacrifice that is being made, not just by soldiers, but by thousands and thousands of civilians who are dying in this conflict.
Now, while sanctions bite in Russia, Europe is also feeling the pain from rising energy costs. As winter approaches, there are concerns European resolve to support Ukraine financially could wane as voters demand more support domestically. But good news from the US, as it is expected to announce $3 billion in security assistance today, the largest single package so far. Let's speak to our Europe correspondent, Adam Parsons, who's in Brussels for us. And Adam, what is the sentiment across the continent as we do mark these 6 months since Russia invaded?
I think generally, if you look across the European Union, there is a lot of pride in the resolve that they've shown, the unity that they have shown in the face of Ukrainian aggression. Now, that shows itself in quite a lot of forms and a few failings along the way. But I think probably the major success is look at the sheer number of Ukrainians who have taken refuge in lots of European countries, but I think notably Poland, which has taken about 1.25 million Ukrainians, Germany, which has taken just a smidgen under 1 million, Czech Republic has taken over 400,000, and even countries like Moldova, not a member of the European Union, but just outside, which has only got a population of 2.5 million people, but has taken nearly 100,000 refugees in. So these people have dispersed across Europe, those two big centres in Poland and Germany. I think that is considered one great success. A second is the sheer amount of money and weaponry and supplies that have gone from Europe to Ukraine. And I think a third is that sense of sort of unity and purpose. Now, that's not to say there weren't some sort of hiccups along the way. And notably, if you look at the Franco-German axis, which is so dominant in European politics at the moment, the Germans were clearly slow to recognise and respond to the fact that they had made themselves too reliant on Russian energy supplies. In France, Emmanuel Macron consistently wanted to keep a dialogue going with Vladimir Putin. There are those who say that that was naive. And now you have to look at Marine Le Pen, still a very, very prominent figure in French politics, who has talked of what she describes as the uselessness of sanctions. And that, I think, leads us into the challenge for the coming 6 months, is that while across Europe, I don't sense any great sort of cracks in that united front, there are challenges. And a big one is approaching in September. That is the Italian general election. Mario Draghi is gone. He was a terrific supporter of Ukrainian resistance. In the place of Mr. Draghi, we're likely to have a government led by a new woman called Giorgia Meloni, a woman, and she has said that she will oppose Russia, but in her government is likely to be Matteo Salvini, a man who once appeared at the European Parliament in a Vladimir Putin T-shirt, and he's absolutely a proponent of closer relations with Russia. We know Hungary, similarly, wants this war to come to an end, wants some kind of rapprochement. There may be pressure in some parts on the EU to cozy up just a little bit more, to look for a solution, to maybe push for some kind of ceasefire. That will come at the moment only from the margins. The heart of Europe is resolute in supporting Ukraine. But as winter comes, as energy prices rise here, just as they will in the United Kingdom, we will look out for changes in that dialogue and potential changes in the political position.
Okay, Adam, thank you very much. And just to let you know, if you scan this QR code that's on your screen right now, you can hear stories from those on Europe's new frontline on Sky News' Ukraine War Diaries podcast. You can subscribe to that, and of course all of our other shows, they're free wherever you get your podcast from. Just search Sky News in your podcast provider. Let's stay with Ukraine now and have a look back at the key events over the last 6 months. I'm joined by Defence and Security Analyst Michael Clark. Good morning to you, Michael. So just talk us through what's happened in the last 6 months.
Yes, Kimberly, 6 months ago to the day, 24th of February this year, the war began. The Russians launched the attack, which they'd said they wouldn't do, but it was lots of air attacks. And we realised at the beginning, as soon as the 24th of February came, that they were going for broke. They were going to try and capture the whole country in about 3 days. And so it was a big operation, and they were attacking from several areas, from Belarus, from other parts of Russia. As that went on, it was clear that that wasn't going to happen. In 3 days, Ukraine didn't fall. The Ukrainian government was very clear that it would carry on and was not going to give in. So then the Russians began to think about what they're going to do with Chernihiv, very important city that they tried to surround. And we saw this enormous convoy developing from the Belarusian border down to Kiev. And we thought, that's going to surround Kiev. It's bound to happen. But it didn't. The convoy got completely stuck. Its own logistical problems, and the Ukrainians were good enough to be able to hit the logistics, hit the fuel and the ammunition. So the convoy didn't get anywhere. And it was clear by within about a month that they just couldn't achieve this. However, the Russians did take Kherson, which is the most important city in the south. It controls the water supply into Crimea, which is Russian control since 2014. And Kherson is the only significant city which the Russians have actually occupied and still occupy. However, as soon as they were in Kherson, there was resistance. People just turned out in passive resistance on the streets. Very brave of them. I have to say it was easier to do it then than it is now. The Russians were a bit bemused by this to begin with, and they sort of tolerated it. As time has gone on, they've become far more tough about this and far more tight in the way they're running security. And so these protests in Kherson, although they lifted the spirits of the Ukrainians, actually began to die out, and that's become more or less of a partisan war now, and quite a lot of assassinations taking place. Meanwhile, the Russians then withdrew from Kiev because their convoy got nowhere. They weren't able to surround it, and we were able to see, as they withdrew from places like Bucha, the extent of the war crimes that have been committed, not just in Bucha, but in other places too, in Chernihiv. And as the Russians withdrew, so more and more of these stories came out. There are 1,600 designated cases at the moment of war crimes being investigated. And then the Ukrainians in April were able to take Kharkiv back. In an offensive to the northwest of Kharkiv, they were able to actually relieve the city as the Russians withdrew. And that was quite a big plus for them. They actually got back their second city. And although Kharkiv has been under severe attack ever since from missiles, it is still pretty safe in functioning as a city. The Russians are at least 25 to 30 kilometers away, and the Ukrainians are able to hold that reasonably significantly. However, in the south, Mariupol should have fallen within hours of the 24th of February, the first Russian invasion. I don't know how it didn't, and they'll be making films about this in years to come, but it finally did fall. And then, of course, the emphasis was on Severodonetsk and Lysychansk, where the Russians finally were able to take Severodonetsk in June, which gives them, with Lysychansk, most of the Luhansk Oblast, which gives them that part of the Donbass area. They haven't got the rest of the Donbass. They've got about 2/3 of it at the moment. They want the other third because that's economically quite important. But that offensive has run out of steam, effectively. And so here we are now. The Russians have pushed towards Zaporizhia in the south. They've got a front of about 2,400 kilometers. It occupies about 20% of Ukrainian territory. That's significant. But they can't seem to move any further. Both sides have now got quite a lot to worry about. Both sides, and for different reasons, know that winter is coming. And so the next couple of months, I think we'll see the way this war will take place, the way the war will develop over the coming year. And believe me, it will go for at least another year. Kimberly.
Michael, thank you so much. Just to let you know, Professor Michael is going to be joining us at 7 tonight. He's going to be answering all your questions on the war in Ukraine. If you have any questions, you can email them to us, news@sky.com. Now, a hosepipe ban affecting millions of people has come into force in parts of southern England. Thames Water imposed the ban today, and it applies to 10 million customers across the Thames Valley and London. People won't be able to use hosepipes to water gardens, wash cars and windows, or fill paddling pools. Let's speak to our correspondent Saba Chowdhury, who's at Staines Reservoir in Surrey. Saba, so if you are found to be using a hosepipe from today, what is the fine?
Good morning, Kimberly. So this ban is impacting up to about 15 million people across the south of the country, places including Greater London, Luton, the Thames Valley, parts of Surrey, Gloucestershire, and also the west of Kent. And what it means in practice is that individuals simply are unable to connect their hosepipe to their main water supply. This is going to impact everyday household tasks, things like watering your plants or going outside to wash your car with a hosepipe. These are simply not options for people. Now, the reason this was announced on the 17th of August is because of the fact we've had record levels of heat these past few weeks, and there's also been a shortage of water when it comes to reservoirs like this one that I'm at today, have very low supplies of water. And it's all of these things combined which have led Thames Water to the decision to take what they're describing the next step in their drought plan. Now, people are being encouraged to report their neighbours that are using their hosepipes, but police officials are saying that not to do this because this is a civil matter as opposed to a criminal one. But meanwhile, in places like Devil and Cornwall, the police there have reported about 1,000 people, more than 1,000 people a day, are reporting this incident. They're saying not to. Now, this is something that impacts up to 15 million people today, but by the end of the week, we're talking about almost double, so 29.5 million people will be without their hosepipes because more companies will also be introducing the ban.
OK, Saba, thank you so much. This is Sky News Today. Coming up, after the killing of Olivia Pratt-Korbel and others in recent weeks, our home editor looks at Liverpool's level of gun crime.
PR Interventions amplifies yours. Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
The world ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clemens, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
one of the things that's the start of taking the whole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to it wherever you are.
It's your man. Show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for who? For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome.
I'm going higher.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. So whom shall I fear? My fortress and my shield, day and night. No need to be afraid. The Lord is my light, my salvation.
This is Starr Radio.
Whom shall I fear?
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone. The best radio show.
I'm going higher, going higher.
morning and welcome to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Going higher, as Starr Radio UK is saying, as Edith Morrison is saying in her music. But I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Those of you on other planets as well, we want to salute each and every one of you. And once again, we say welcome to the Wednesday edition of the morning show. Today is the 24th day of August, the year 2022. 10:41 the time. And once again, welcome on board. But let me say good morning to my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. And then to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, working behind the scenes. And to all the other technical team working behind the scenes as well, we salute each and every one of you and we say welcome. So Moses, good morning. Let's say good morning also to Anthony Adideji, Amaya Jiragene, Aziz, all the way in the USA. Miss Gold in UAE. Good morning to you all. Plus many of you who join us on the YouTube, those of you on the Facebook and all the other social media platforms. Those of you listening to us on our own apps, the Starr Radio UK app. As I say all the time, you go to your app store, just type in Starr Radio Global and just download it. It is for free. It will pop up. We have the TV session and all the other bits to it, so you wouldn't miss a thing whilst we are on. But subscribe to our YouTube channel and then share the Facebook as well and like it. At the moment we're using the Archie Hammond, but don't you worry, the Starr Radio UK will be ready for, in a couple of days time, of course. But what 10:43, it's a Wednesday edition of the morning show. And as you know, the Wednesday edition of the morning show ends exactly at 12 o'clock. So from 9 to 12 o'clock, I'm going to be your captain. Don't touch the dial. Don't rock the boat. We're going to be enjoying the sail or the travels this morning. So stay tuned. All protocol observed.
It's my fortress, my shield, day and night.
For those of you who have tuned in for the first time or it's the first time of listening to us, this is how the program goes on the Wednesday morning. I'll bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates. Move on from 10 to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Tonight at 11 o'clock, we happen to Olayomi Koiki will be joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria. At 11:30, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. At 12 o'clock, the first part of the program is brought to an end so that PMQ can follow. But now that Parliament is on recess, that means the program will come to close at 12 o'clock. But while the program will not be void of music, whatever you are celebrating today, let me say happy celebrations, happy anniversary, happy birthday, happy whatever you are celebrating. The quote for the day says that to wait on God to create an opportune circumstance for you is like saying God should cook for you and feed you at the same time. So God cooks for you and God feeds you at the same time. My goodness, God will be very, very busy, isn't it? All right then. Now let's move on straight to the weather front. Let me tell you what is happening on the weather front.
We going higher, we going higher, going higher, we going higher.
Well, I've got some breaking news that is coming through, but I'll be bringing that in a moment. Information coming through, my producer I should just put it through. Information coming through says that the shooter or suspected target of the shooting which killed 9-year-old Olivia Pratt Cobble are arrested and will be recalled to prison. Okay, so that is the breaking news for you. But straight on to the weather front.
Every day, walking in power.
For London and the southeast of England, it's going to be staying mostly dry in the afternoon, but there is a chance of a few isolated showers. A very warm day with gentle winds. And tonight we will start largely dry under a mix of patchy cloud and clear spells through the early hours. Sharp showers will push in from the south with a risk of some thunder as well. Tomorrow temperature is going to be 27 degrees, the lowest 17 degrees. Pollen level is going to be high, UV level moderate, pollution low. That's the playing in the background, higher by Edith Morrison. But that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you. We'll go straight to the travel. Stay tuned.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio travel update that comes to every weekday from 10:40. It's not 10:45. What is your travels like? Now, on the Central Line, there are delays that's on the underground. There are severe delays due to an earlier fire alert at Bank. Tickets are being accepted on London buses, Chiltern Railways, and the Elizabeth Line. Now, Elizabeth Line has also got minor delays, Paddington and Abbey Wood, while they fix a faulty platform edge doors at Whitechapel. Good service on the rest of the line. However, DLR has got minor delays between Bank and Woolwich Arsenal, Stratford International, while they fix a faulty train at King George the Faith train station. Good service on the rest of the line. Then the London Tram Lake until the 31st of August has no service between Wimbledon and Therapia Lane. Replacement buses are operating between Wimbledon and Warden Marsh. That aside, London Overground, good service on all the other routes, good service there. And moving on straight to the major roads in London: A23, A24, A4, A41, Central London Red Route, and South Circular A205 have all got closures. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads, and we'll keep you navigated. Now moving on straight to the river bus. On the river bus, I can tell you today assuredly, good service throughout. Even Woolwich Ferry is running a good service there. Now the final segment of the travel update, that is the National Rail. Okay, trying to get that information coming through. It's loading. Okay. I think okay, that wouldn't be much from the National Rail this morning for you. But wherever you are, let me say once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be. But enjoy your comment for today. You know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10 minutes to the top of the hour. That means it's what? Time for Global Trotting. So let's go Global Trotting now. Yes. So what is happening on your part of your art or where you are at the moment? I'll be bringing you that. But when it comes to Nigeria, the federal government is depriving youths education, as so he's saying, of course, if they don't want to play ball, that's what they are saying. But go look through it and you find out that most of them, or about 80% of them, have got the awards outside the country, educating themselves. Okay, Well, they come back and come and rule again. UN begs for 1.1 billion to solve Nigeria's humanitarian crisis. My goodness. And then the UN said in the New York, in the New York on Tuesday, that $1.1 billion will be needed to tackle the humanitarian needs in the Northeast. Wow. Now, Abacha Lut federal government, US signs agreement on management of forfeited assets. And then Mr. Malami said the forfeited Mecosta Sani assets were $23.4 million. And then Nigeria has recovered 86.2 billion naira stolen oil in 1 month. My goodness, how did they recoup all that? Well, we'll be looking more into that, and we'll be bringing you more on that once I have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining us at 11 o'clock. But now, let's look at other parts of the world, and let's look at some of the stories making the rounds there as well. Now, interestingly, as I said earlier on, in the UK, the breaking news that came, a 35-year-old man has been arrested, suspected to have been the target of the shooting. Oh, okay, a 35-year-old man suspected to have been the target of the shooting has been arrested in hospital. Okay, let me clarify that. A 35-year-old man suspected to have been the target of the shooting has been arrested in hospital. That's pertaining to the 9-year-old girl that was shot dead. Is it the father? Is it the brother? Is it the uncle? Who was he? Now I'll be telling you more about that in a moment, but it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds. In Ghana, there's no way MPP can rig election 2024 unless they kill us. Who is speaking? Otokuno of the opposition party. Look no further, for I am the Messiah of NDC. Ofusampofu announces re-election bid, and he says, I will retain my seat as chairman even if contested by General Mosquito. Ofusampofu says, and the EC has lost some of the data compiled for the 2020 elections. Sami Jemfi is alleging. Now, how come? Did they deliberately delete it? What exactly is happening? It's all Starr Radio, okay? I'm not scared to die for speaking the truth to power, says Kwesi Cheidakwa KKD. One journalist as well in Ghana, one old-time journalist there. Okay. Now moving on straight to some other. LaBianca rejects OSP's charges and instructs their lawyers to fight. So how come that they paid the fine? Or is it that they've not paid the fine? Or now that it's come to public light, now they think that they want to do some stuff there. But whatever it is, we'll be looking into that. Don't touch the dial. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Alright then, now let's move on straight to other parts of Africa as well. Decision day, Angolans vote for president in tightest ever race. It's one of the stories making the run. And Kenya election official dies in unclear circumstances. I'll be bringing you more on that. Egypt president meets with regional leaders in coastal city. Anti-jihadists fight Burkina Faso, and Niger invite Mali to return to the military. In Libya, 7 bodies found in a mass grave there as well. What happened to them? Those are some of the stories making the rounds in Libya or on the African continent. Nigeria gang leader accepts truce. Okay, I'll be bringing you more on that. Let me bring you that, and let's it says the Nigeria gang leader has accepted a truce offered by authorities in the northwestern state of Zamfara, which has been racked by a year of deadly violence. Local official said on Monday. Now, band leader Bello Turji has agreed to end attacks and kidnappings for ransom. Zamfara State Deputy Governor Hassan Nashiha told a news conference broadcast on local stations. He said, in a quote, "We have reached a peace agreement with Turji, and in the last 6 weeks, not a single person has been killed in the areas he controls." Nashiha said. He said Turji is now fighting with other gangs that have refused to lay down their arms. I think we talked about that yesterday, but interesting. What have they given him? in exchange for that allegiance. Yesterday we did talk about that, but we'll bring you more when it comes to Nigeria once we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki with us. Now moving on straight to other stories making the rounds. Arrest, okay, that is in the world front. Now Ukraine marks Independence Day amid fear of attacks. 6 months into Russia's invasion, public gatherings have been banned in Kyiv because of security fears. Information that was coming through was saying that, well, they have some military, Russian military that was crossing the borders into Ukraine. Now, Florida Democrats pick Chris to challenge DeSantis. Democrats are keen to eclipse rising star Ron DeSantis amid expectation he may run for the White House. Now, Thai court suspends Prime Minister and coup leader Prayut Chan-Ocha won power in the coup in 2014, but opponents say he has overstayed his ruling term. Well, we'll be looking into that. No fuel imports to UK from Russia for first time. Imports of goods from Russia fell to 33 million in June, the lowest level since 1997, officials have said. An ex-officer in Breonna Taylor's case pleaded guilty. Okay, those are some of the stories. No charges in U.S. police killing of Rayshard Brooks. The 27-year-old was shot after a struggle with two officers who were trying to arrest him. Those are some of the stories making the rounds there. And in the UK, as I said, a target of shooting that killed 9-year-old has been arrested. Okay, a minimum wage should rise to £15, says union body. A higher rate should be paid to all workers, including under 23s. The Trades Union Congress is saying, and passengers stuck for hours inside Eurotunnel. Several people were freaking out, said one traveler, after a Carlisle to Folkestone train was evacuated. Those are some of the stories making the rounds. Now the big one, hosepipe ban comes into force affecting millions. The Thames water ban applies to 10 million customers in the Thames Valley and London. So please be warned and be forearmed. Now protesters arrested over M25 service damage. Petrol pumps are out of action after activists glued themselves to forecourts and damaged pumps. What do they want? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Let's now move on to some music, and then we'll be having Miss Olayomi Koiki joining us. Stay tuned.
I'm going higher. I'm going higher. The Lord is my light and my salvation. So whom shall I fear? My fortress and my shield, day and night. No need to be afraid. The Lord is my light, my salvation. So whom shall I fear? He's my fortress, my shield, day and night. No need to be afraid. I'm going higher, going higher, going higher. We going higher.
This is Starr Radio UK.
We going higher. We going higher. Higher. We going higher. He's your confidence, in his love you can trust. So No need to be afraid.
This is Starr Radio.
The Lord is your light and your salvation. In Him you can trust. We going
The
higher.
best radio show.
We going higher, going higher. We going higher, higher. Going higher, 'cause we going higher, 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 higher. We going higher, 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 higher. We going higher. My life is secured and renewed in these words every day, every day.
This is Starr Radio
Walking
UK.
in power and
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
my life is
Archie from
secured and
Starr
renewed in these words every day, every day. Walking in power and victory. Going higher, 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 higher. We're going higher, 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 higher. We going higher, 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 we going
Okay, going higher by Edith Morrison. It's Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 3 minutes past 11 the time, and it is your Wednesday edition of the morning show. I should have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in the next few moments for us to review what is happening in Nigeria. Well, Nigeria imports $11 billion plastics, pharmaceutical, sugar. Okay, plastics, pharmaceuticals, and sugar. Can't Nigeria actually cultivate what do you call it? Sugar cane farms and then produce sugar enough for themselves? Or is it because some people are actually making it by importing all those things in, and then what? The plastics. I remember back in the day when I visited, they were doing all sorts. I don't know what has happened. What happened to Nigeria that brought about all this that now they have to now import up to 11 billion. And there were lots of pharmaceutical companies. I'm not saying that everything can be produced there though, but at least you've got the people, the number of people or the population to patronize those products. Why aren't we doing it? I remember back in the day, Kofi Ali will tell you that we are not doing that because we don't have the machinery. We don't have the technology to produce the machinery to be used, and therefore whatever we do will still be dependent on the West or the developed countries to do whatever we are doing. But what do you think about all that? It is Starr Radio UK. Let's take a quick break. We'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining us in the next few moments. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Just bear with me. It seems okay, yes, I got it right now. All right then. Yes, I've got a white lion who is all geared up, ready to fire on all cylinders. It is the Wednesday edition of the morning show, where we bring you everything that you need to know pertaining to other stories making the rounds across the globe. But now, let me say massive good morning to the white lion himself. Yomi, massive good morning to you.
Well, it is a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. Good morning to all the back-end team. Good morning to all our presenters. And good morning to all our listeners and viewers. And they're also connected from this platform on the other side. So we have quite a lot of over about 5,000 people that are listening and watching as we speak right now, because we already have a transmission that was going on prior to coming on air. I say good morning and welcome once again to Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes.
24th of August 2022, 8 minutes past.
Yes, to every one of you listening to us on all the other platforms, we salute each and every one of you. Olurami Kilanko, Gabi, say good morning, Star Radio UK. Archie, Frank, Olayomi, and the fans, we also salute you. We hope you are doing very, very well. Keep your comments coming through. If you go to Yomi will read it. If it comes to me, I will read that as well. But it's now time for us to bring you updates from Nigeria. How was your night, though?
Well, as usual, we had a late night broadcast, so and I had to wake up early because I had a delivery that I was expecting. I didn't even realize that my son was also expecting a delivery. I was actually expecting one because this is part of what we say. Services makes a lot of money. We discussed that a week ago on Star Radio UK, and with Niger Voices this same week, which is going to happen today, we will continue on that. So I had to actually wake up a little bit early so that I can prepare my mind that in case the delivery was coming, because DHS has already notified me through the text messages. So I had to actually wake up, even though I slept a little bit late yesterday. But we are back again. This is what we love to do. Giving the news, all the headlines coming out of Nigeria, Africa, and the rest of the world. And like I always say to those that were listening to me before coming on air, if only the postal services in Nigeria was working, which it used to work at some point, but who is going to be sending a delivery from Lagos to Abuja or Kano, where you might be kidnapped with the whole parcel?
That is a big question. Who want to do that? Even people who are traveling, just going on their own businesses, are being kidnapped. Now, what about those who they know that you are even carrying some things to deliver to people who they might also need? Well. It is all coming your way from Star Radio UK. Now, let's move on straight to the stories making the rounds. Federal government depriving youth youth education, as he's saying. And I was saying that, yes, that is very, very true, because I mean, you look at this top, the cream de la cream. Most of them have not got their children or their families back in Nigeria or in Ghana or those places that they are really, all of them are outside the country educating themselves in the best universities and stuff like that. And therefore, they don't give a hoot about what the minority or the majority themselves are facing. Everything is their interest. So why is ASU saying that?
Well, the situation with these, federal government and the academic staff union of university have again accused, the federal government of the APC that promised change, and they came back and they say next level. I mean, you would thought that the change was not more than enough, and they came back with the next slogan, next level. I'm not sure what slogan they're going to be using. I think it's Emilokon is the slogan that is already.
It's our turn now.
Yes, Bassonjo says, when Charlie Boy visited him, visit on over the weekend, that they've now got more political words in the dictionary. Emilokon. Eleyi is what Tinubu told the governor of Dapo Abiodun, that Eleyi will not have been a governor if it's not because of me. But let's come back to the reality. Yeah, so when they say Eleyi means you. So
if not because of me, you will not be anywhere. All right.
And this is where the political gladiator in most African countries control the resources and the minds of the people. So to come back on the conversation that you just talked about, I mean, yes, there is now accusation to the APC government of a deliberate attempt to deprive Nigerian youth of access to qualitative education. When you quite look at the numbers of pictures recently, the governors, I mean, they don't even hide it. They come here and celebrate the graduation of their sons and their daughters, whereas as we speak right now, millions of Nigerian youth from the north to the middle belt to the southeast to the south to the southwest are languishing at home since 14th of February, when they should be in the school. This was contained again in a joint statement that was held by the chairman, Mohammed Sani Gaya, and the secretary, Muritala Mohammed of ASU in Kano University of Science and Technology, and this was made available to the newsmen. The union noted that the body language and the antics of the government were indications that the government was out to completely, hear this word, completely destroy the education in the country, especially the tertiary education.
Wow, that is a tough one. That statement, to completely destroy the education, that is quite a tough one there. But let me acknowledge a couple of people who have joined us here. Pastor Momo, good morning. Archie and Koiki and all viewers. Pastor Momo, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very well, sir. Low says Yoruba Nation Declaration now coupled with our over 5 million signatories followed. Okay, and Moses says Archie and Olayomi, good morning. You big Uncle Mo your big Uncle Mo is here with you guys today again because you are authentic. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate that. Lolo says Yoruba Nation now declaration followed with recognition of the Kingdom of Yoruba land. And then Ola okay, says I want to renew my passport. I was told I don't need but Nigeria on my European passport. If I don't want, and I asked why, she laughed. I said okay, but okay, put Yoruba Nation. She said not yet. Smile. Now he went to renew his passport. He said he wants Yoruba Nation passport.
Yeah, I think the minds, the beauty of the technology has been able to educate more people, in the background and the history of Nigeria that we talked about. The history was completely shrouded. Imagine if the students are out of the university and the tertiary, that means, that there's a deprivation of, that education. And again, what the technology in terms of the social media have done is, connecting us across the globe. As like you said, as we speak this morning, I've had people that have called me from as close to the rural area, saying that, their mind is already out of Nigeria, but the process is what is currently going on. And like we always say, on this platform, in as much as, Nigeria is still a sovereign nation as it is, but the question of Nigeria is, will it survive the way it is? And I was able to again look at, the dissolution of Soviet Union as we've done again and again. And the reason that the decision of Gorbachev to allow election with a multi-party system and create a presidency for the Soviet Union actually began the slow process of where the breakup of Soviet Union that eventually destabilized the communist control and contributed to the collapse of the Soviet Union. If Nigeria has worked for 62 years, where education is value, the healthcare is value, in some time, because of our time this morning, the Saudi Arabia royal family were coming down to UCH, University College Hospital, Ibadan, for medical treatment. Imagine a royal family flew in their aircraft and received treatment, and then they get very well treated and they return back. But right now, yesterday during one of our headlines, the health minister is actually begging Nigerians not to travel outside the country because the government probably cannot be able to pay salary anymore.
Wow, Hunter Wayne Matthew, I says good morning Archie and good morning Olayomi Koiki the White Lion. Good morning to you, Mr. Matthew, and Idowu John. Good morning. Thank you very much to each and every one of you who have joined us on the platform. Miss Gold, it's a good day to you guys. How are you doing today? And how are your families? Our families are doing well, and we hope that Nigeria has not happened to you and you are doing well as well. But it is Starr Radio UK. It is the Wednesday edition of the morning show, 17 minutes past the top of the hour, and let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds. Nigeria needs up to 1.1 billion, says the US, to tackle the humanitarian needs only in the northeast. Only in the northeast. We're not talking about people who have been displaced in the south or the middle belt. Or what exactly? How did they assess that even?
Well, it's actually the United Nations said this yesterday, Tuesday, in New York, that they will need 1.1 billion US dollars, to tackle the humanitarian need in the northeast. The question we should ask is, what created the humanitarian needs, and why do we have, so much internal displaced people, especially in the northeast, but also we have them across the country. The United Nations was required to implement the 2022 humanitarian response plan to address humanitarian needs of people in the Nigeria Northeast. According to Stephen Dujarric, spoke at the news conference in New York, says 1.1 billion will be required for that fund. According to him, only 37% of the $1.1 billion is funded. Our humanitarian colleagues in the field warn that without immediate funding, this has actually blown the minds of so many Yoruba people, and I'm sure some Nigerians. This is why we are saying we can't continue, where the world believes that they can continue to give us humanitarian assistance when the real problem is what we've discussed again and again. And I've actually talked about it when I was reviewing, the letter that was put together, by Professor Banji Akintoye to the president. And he says, and I quote, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country, but the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their background. If we have been able to resolve the real problem of the 1914 amalgamation as an example, we might not have the situation where the Northeast has become, a terrorized area for the people. And that is why fund is needed, because the Nigerian government do not have the money anymore. The UN has now looked at it as, as an humanitarian assistance, but in the long run, how many people will they be able to give support when we can literally wind down Nigeria? So just to give it up, he added that with the lean season underway, up to 4.1 million people were projected to face acute food shortage in the Northeast. There are more than 4 million people in the Southwest, in the Middle Belt, in the Southeast that are also in need of food shortage. Because as we speak today, and which I actually did this morning, when I spoke to a family, they did not even have what to eat in the morning, and I had no other choice than to dip the little I have and send to them in the morning. So if the UN is thinking that, the only problem is about those in the Northeast and they need 1.1 billion, they better start demanding 1.1 billion for the rest of the other part of the country so that we can solve the problem. And that is why Nigeria still remains the capital poverty of the world, and there's not much money coming in because we're not producing so much. Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, listeners, it's quite worrying when we hear some of these stories, but what do we do? What do we do? I've been saying it. Chinua Achebe, back in the day, whether he was also a prophet or whatever, was looking at it. He said, well, things fall apart. When the center cannot hold, things fall apart. And it looks like Nigeria seems to be falling apart before our eyes, and people are calling for it to be broken down, okay, to the various groupings, okay? So the north, the southeast, and the southwest, and let everybody just manage it the way they can to do it, and they will understand their own thing. But others are not of the view. They think that we still have to hold it together, which they can still not do. Moyiwa Osinoga says a good morning and happy midweek to everyone in the house. Moyiwa, morning to you. Okay, now let's move on to, well, we were talking about money. Now, apparently, Abacha is making some more money. You know, now we've got about another $23 million in assets. Now, how much money should we expect from where again? From Abacha this time around?
Well, how much money? But let's look at how much we have already recovered from the dead man. You know, each time we knock his grave, and it gives us the pin code to where the money is. And on a serious note, according to this headline, Abacha loot has now hit $334.7 million. The U.S. is condemning the corruption. The question again is, how did the money get to the U.S. in the first place? You know, as much as the U.S. condemns this corruption, but they've actually allowed the money that should have been taken back to Nigeria from the sales, I believe, of maybe a crude oil sales, or probably money that was moved through a wire transfer. The amount of money that has been stolen by the late General Sani Abacha and his cronies, which have been repatriated to Nigeria by the United States, has now hit over $334.7 million. The U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Leonard, said yesterday in Nigeria, according to her, the U.S. government had been keenly aware of the devastating impact of corruption on the societies, including eroding trust and the ability of the government to deliver to their citizens. It distorted the economics and access to key services. It hindered development, pushes citizens towards extremists, and makes countries and officials, malicious foreign interference, according to the U.S. envoys emphasized. Leonard expressed this view during the signing of an agreement with the federal government of Nigeria for another 23 million of Abacha stolen wealth.
Well, we hope that we'll knock until maybe we get at 23 billion, and that will solve the issue of Nigeria out. Don't we? But Pastor Momo says that sincerely Nigeria has already fallen apart. Well, Pastor Momo, thank you very much. We know that it is true. It is true. And then Ola says, what I meant is that they told me I don't need to put Nigeria, as place of birth on my European passport. Interesting. If I want. Wow. So I said, put Yoruba Nation as a place of birth. She laughed and said, soon. Okay. That's why you told her to put Lagos. Okay, interesting. So I think some people seem to be reading between the lines that, look, it's just a matter of time. There will not be any Nigeria. Who knows what is going on? Yesterday, we did talk about the fact that how many countries are actually in support of the breaks that we are talking about there. And this seems to show that there might be some bodies, international bodies, who seem to be on the side of the Yoruba and the Igbo and the houses that, look, the thing is all working, let's break up. So let's see what happens. I mean, let's see what happens. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 11:24 the time. This evening there's going to be Niger Voices, where all the other stories that have not been delved into details will be brought your way, and then you have the chance to talk as much as you want, and that is at 18 hours BST or UK. It will be 18 hours in Nigeria as well, so make sure that you join that program. Okay, now Yomi, let's come to one other story that's talking about $11 billion that is used in importing plastics, pharmaceuticals, and sugar. Now, I remember back in the day, that was quite a long time. I was a student at the time. That's in the 80s when I visited Nigeria for a month. So we traveled. I remember going to Abeokuta. I remember going to Ibadan, and we were in Lagos. So I enjoyed the visit. I enjoyed everything because at that time there were lots of factories. there were plants that were producing Peugeot cars and the VWs. So there was a lot of activities there. But how come that common plastics now we have to? I mean, it's part of the thing that Nigeria is imported, and sugar. When Nigeria can cultivate sugar cane and have their own sugar, that we can say that, look, when it comes to pharmaceuticals, okay, let's say there are some of the medicines that we cannot get, or we will not have the materials to do it, or the technology will not be given to us to do it, and therefore we have to rely on them. But how come 11 billion? Yummy.
Well, how come? That means that we are actually helping these countries where these products come from. China, Korea, Republic, Saudi Arabia, India, United States of America, Netherlands, Denmark, United Arab Emirates, Brazil, and Switzerland. When you look at, let's take a look quickly in Denmark, because we'll probably just go straight to social media after this because we know of our timing this morning. Let's look at Denmark. Population 5.8 million people. Their language is official is Danish. And let me look at their GDP this morning, and that shows that 355.2 billion US dollars. Right? Is because Nigeria is also importing sugar from Denmark, a country that is not even up to 6 million population. Do we have what it takes as a country, if it was truly working, to allow farmers to grow sugar cane, and we convert it to sugar, because sugar is needed in our life, whether it also have impact when you look at it medically. But between 2020 and 2021, just under the space of 1 year, almost 11 billion worth of pharmaceuticals, plastic, and sugar were imported into Nigeria, a country that used to grow and produce a lot during the 60s up to the 70s, until manufacturing will start collapsing. I was speaking to one of our followers yesterday, I think a day before yesterday. He normally helped us to create banners, and I asked him if we can do more. He actually said the machine has collapsed, and that means the business has actually folded up. I mean, as of last year, we were able to get free up to 500 worth of banners that we could have produced and paid for. That shows that one business has already collapsed. Is a diaspora. He might be able to return back here, but what about those that were employed in that condition? So the headline says 11 billion worth of plastic, pharmaceuticals, and sugar were imported into Nigeria between 2020 and 2021.
Wow. Let me ask you a quick one. When the government decided to shut the borders so that rice and some other products would not come into the country, imported rice, so that the local rice could be promoted. But have we seen any improvement on that front at all?
Well, there's not much out of it. What actually was done is from my point of view, was a deliberate act to shut the border, in as much as the border was used for other criminal activities. But the most important part of it was the border was deliberately shut down for over 2 years because the Nigerian government did not have a very good relationship also with the Beninese president that we are aware of. But when you look at some of the product, these are daily product that Nigerians need. That's if those that can afford it. It also includes the bath, the shower bath, the sink, the washing base, the lavatory seat, the cover, the flushing sink, and similar sanitary ware of plastic, articles of convenience for packaging. I mean, I have received 2 packages this morning, and those packages will get to me because they were in those materials that will be needed. We have the forest, but the forest can no longer be something that we can take advantage of because it is not an invasion of the terrorism that is happening in Nigeria. So when you talk about what particular needs for Nigeria, currently the demand for sugar in Nigeria is around 1.7 million metric tons annually, and this comes from 2 main sectors: the food and drink manufacturing and the retail market. It will interest you to know that the sugar sector in Nigeria can generate massive jobs in Kwara State, Kogi State, Adamawa, Niger, Oyo State, Ondo, and Nasarawa State, given that each 100 acres of sugarcane plantation can employ up to 20 workers. It is conceivable that the sugar sector can support on sustainable basis of up to hundreds of thousands of jobs. Secondly, with a fully self-sufficient sugar sector, the country can preserve over $500 million of forex spent on importation of raw material sugar annually, and the government can save over $5 billion of foreign exchange if self-sufficient. The question is, why has this not worked for a very long time? Is something that a lot of Nigerians are talking about this morning.
It is sad. It is sad. It is very, very sad. Terry Omolade, echo it to you as well. I hope you are doing very, very well. But it is Wednesday edition of the morning show. I'll come back to you, Yomi, for you to get us the rest of the story and what is happening on the social media platform, please.
Well, let's just go straight to the social media. Like I said, this evening, 3 sections we're going to be reviewing. We're going to be discussing the UN 1.1 billion. Is it just the Northeast that needs money, or every other part of Nigeria that also have so many Nigerians that are in acute condition? We're also going to discuss this particular sector. Nigeria actually lose 390 billion yearly to power, telecom, transport, disruption. All these will be reviewed during Nigeria Voices, and we might have the phone line open for all our listeners to join. Remember, that is coming up 1800 hours, which is 6 p.m. local time. And that takes us now to what is trending on social media. What more could be trending if not Abacha loot? Is now already trending at number 2, but before coming online, it was actually trending at number 1. Shetima, the vice president candidate of APC, is trending at number 3. Lagos is trending at number 8. But let's take a look at what Abacha could reason why it's trending so much. Routers, US to return $23 million looted by the late Sani dictator Abacha to Nigeria official. And according to Reno Odwala, how much did Abacha really steal is the question mark out there. Let me look at some of the comments under that, which might be of interest to us, if something that we can pick from that. Uncountable trillions of dollars, according to @Odubre_ETJ dash. Baba looted from every corners of Nigeria. Baba don't know say Nigeria go day in big debt. $23 million no be small money. Make them settle ASU first. Settle Abuja Kaduna train adopter so that they go release them. People, make them buy suya for Nigerians. Somebody says ASU requested 1 trillion naira. 23 million is actually 9 trillion. So quite a huge money there. So I'm not sure whether the government wants to put the money to ASU. And the next person says he saved money, not steal. I am beginning to think he invested the money and the US isn't telling us something. And the last person says he saved our money in his personal account. How do you people raise yourself? And the last one says the highest currency during his time was 20 naira or 50 naira. I think something fishy about the amount recovered already. Are we sure that there aren't money stolen by other people in his name? Abi, have you thought how many 50 naira note will make $1 billion today? I'm probably sure maybe this person does not understand that this money are stolen through the crude oil that should have been sold out of the country. So there's a lot of reaction when it comes to Abacha. And to take one or two more, Henry Shield says, do you want the US government then also tagging the White House, the Joe Biden and the POTUS to release the latest $23 million to Abacha government, or they wait till a new government is formed in 2023? No, don't give it to Buhari. Yes, give it to Buhari. I'll probably say no, and let's see where the percentage are. So definitely 95.5% of people say don't give the money to this current government because it can be swallowed as well. And the last person says 23 million Abacha looted return. Cycle people rejoicing, relooting is loading.
Interesting. Now a quick one. Where is Abacha's wife? I remember back in the day when after Abacha was overthrown and everything.
I can tell you because Abacha's wife actually surfaced a week ago, which I saw her during all these big massive wedding. I believe the wedding of somebody related to Yaradua. Abacha's wife was actually there because I picked that from Daily Momodu page where where she's still there. I'm sure she's waking up this morning thinking again, not my husband again. I never know that he had so much money that was kept somewhere. But like we always say, all these have created a lot of bad image for Nigeria, and that is why Nigeria is still the capital poverty of the world. And in reality, Imagine UN is asking 1.1 billion to save a particular, which is quite right. We're talking about 4.3 million or thereabout in the northeast. But a lot of Nigerians this morning will continue to ask, how did we get to where we are today, and how do we get out if it's not going to be too late? But as we speak on Starr Radio UK, we are just about 171 days. Is an election going to solve the problem? Dissolution going to solve the problem? Some are even saying, let's give room, because restructuring might also happen with the new government that will be coming. But a lot of those that say they want self-determination are saying, let us just hang the boots and we can still be friends among each other.
Well, which is the way forward? The late musician says, ask the question, which way Nigeria? Akim Razaki, good afternoon, Starr Radio UK. Good afternoon to you, Akim. Vicky Newton, hey Vicky, our just soon to be MP. Yes, good afternoon to you. I hope you are doing very, very well. Thank you very much for joining us and watching us as well. All right, Yomi. So yes, this evening exactly at 18 hours, it's happening live once again.
Yes, that's where we're going to have the conversation. We haven't got any guest lineup, but I believe our listeners would have the opportunity to call in, and then they can, discuss with me this evening, those, topics that we're going to be discussing. Especially, is it just the Northeast that needs money, or is it just every Nigerian that need help? Because if the Northeast is looked at as where acute is happening, there's a lot acute as well happening across Nigeria, and that's what we're going to be discussing later this evening. So make sure you join in at 1800 hours, same time, which is 6 p.m. local time here in London, 6 p.m. local time back in Nigeria. And on that note, I say a very good morning.
Thank you very much, Yomi. Have a lovely day. We'll catch up later. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It is Starr Radio UK, 11:37 the time. The morning show. It is a Wednesday edition of the morning show. That means that the program finishes exactly at 12 o'clock. But just stay tuned. Don't you go away. I've got a few other stories I'm going to be bringing your way before we take a bow. But for now, let me open the lines. Before then, Adegbola Adetayo, Abacha all the time. Abacha, he makes the headlines, But as some people were saying, alluded, maybe he's been saving those monies or invested them and it's yielding fruit for us. At least it's better that it trickles in rather than people just chopping it, Abby. All right then. Well, that's just by way of joke. Well. Now, if you want to join the conversation, it's 0208-133-2257 or 58 0208-133-2257 or 58. You happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it is 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. Our text or WhatsApp number is 075-3966-1744, 075-3966-1744, and our Twitter handle is @Starr Radio UK. Email address is info@starradiouk.com. Let's take this music break, and then I'll continue with the program. Stay tuned. It's a cover version of Bob Marley's song Survivor. And Nigerians not survivors, Africans, oh my goodness, they are survivors. Adegbola says, what about Abdul Salam and others after him? Only named because he's well, it's true, there are others who are doing worse than what, because talking about crude oil with a ship of crude oil that get vanishes and all that stuff that is going on. Well, I bet you when those people are dead and cannot cover themselves, we'll be hearing lots of other loots that have gone on. But enjoy this song and I'll be with you.
Suffer in the suffering, he never will.
worldwide, online 24/7.
Some people can stand as strong. Some people can't wait for long. We're the survivors. Yes, the black survivors. We're the survival. We got to survive, y'all. We got to survive, y'all. We got to survive, y'all.
Okay, so this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is the Wednesday edition of the morning show, bringing the time now to 17 minutes to the top of the hour. So let's crack on quickly. Let's have a look at some of the other stories making the round this morning. Don't you even think of touching the dial there, because we're going to be looking at some stories quickly. Yes. I'm going to be flying like no man's business. So stay tuned. Now, when it comes to... Okay, my apologies. Yes. So when it comes to some of the stories making the rounds on the African continent, a quick one from there. In Ghana, the National Communication Officer of the National Democratic Congress, Sami Jemfi, has alleged that Electoral Commission of Ghana has lost some of the data used for the 2020 elections. According to him, it is for this reason that the commission is so keen on compiling a new voters register for the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. So do we need to compile a new voters register every time we go for elections? That's the question. The Electoral Commission has lost some of its data, and so they are seeking to compile a new register. Their plan is to compile a new register, but they cannot come out to say that publicly. They want to throw away the old register, and so they are seeking to introduce a new law that will make the Ghana card the only form of identification document. That's information coming through the directors of elections of National Democratic Congress, Elvis Efriyankra, has also previously stated that the actual plan of the EC is that it wants to create a new voters register through the draft CI it has tabled in Parliament. The CI requires only the Ghana card for the registration of prospective voters. Now, what is... We don't have money, you know. We don't have money, but we love wasting money. We don't have money, but we love wasting money. That is the issue. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, quickly, let's move on to one other story that's pertaining to Ghana there as well. The management of La Bianca Company Limited has denied accusations of influence peddling or trading of influence against the company by the special prosecutor. The OSP, in a statement 2 weeks ago, said it has recovered 1.074 million Ghana cedis from La Bianca Limited. The amount, the statement said, represents a shortfall in import duties the frozen foods company paid to the state. Now, the OSP further accused CEO of the firm, Ms. Asamwahene, of influence peddling for allegedly using her position as a member of the Council of State and a member of the board of directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority to get a favorable decision from the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, which led to a reduction in the tax liability of La Bianca Limited. But well, if they were not at fault or in the wrong, why did they pay that money? Why did they refund that money? Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now moving on to one other story. A third Algerian ex-prime minister detained over graft. Now, former Prime Minister and Algeria's late President Abdulaziz Bouteflika has been detained, according to local media reports, making him the third ex-Prime Minister, a premier, to face jail on corruption charges. An Algiers judge has placed Noureddin Bedoui under court supervision and confiscated his passport after his detention on Sunday. But on Tuesday, another court decided to detain him. The 62-year-old briefly served as prime minister in early 2019 after being appointed to replace unpopular Prime Minister Ahmed Wahia as the streets across Algeria were rocked by the unprecedented protests against Bouteflika's bid for a 5th term in office. But this all coming your way from Star Radio UK. Now, decision day Angolans are voting today for president. Now, 8 political parties are running, but real contest lies between the MPLA and its long-standing rival and ex-rebel movement, the National Liberation Front, there as well. So, those are some of the stories making the rounds there. Now, let's quickly come to other parts of the world as well. Now, in other parts of the world, Thai court suspends Prime Minister and coup leader. Now, Prayut Chan-o-cha. Okay, I hope I'm not massacring the name. Now, Thailand's top court has suspended Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha from official duty while it considers a legal challenge to his term limit. Now, opposition parties have filed a case arguing that Mr. Prayut has been in charge since 2014, have overstayed his tenure. Now, Thailand's constitution limits prime ministers to 8 years in office. So, 2014 to 2022. Yeah, how many days? However, in recent years, he has often been facing my apologies. The ex-army chief first seized power in the 2014 military coup and then retained office in 2019 under a heavily restricted election. However, in recent years, he has been facing growing opposition and backlash within his own coalition. So far this year, he has survived multiple no-confidence votes against him. Now, opponents and activists have argued Mr. Prayut's term began when he was junta leader. As military leader, he seized power in May 2014 coup and then appointed himself Prime Minister of the new military government in August 2014. That means his term should end this week, his critics say. However, his supporters say his term only began in 2017. His term only began in 2017. And when a new constitution came into force, or even after a general election in 2019, that saw him retain power. So how do you count it all? Because back in the day when Ghana was returning into civilian rule, okay, we had the late former president Jerry John Rawlings, who was the military leader, and then he transitioned, won the election and became a civilian leader, and everything that went on. So when do you count it? Do you count it from the day that he conducted the coup d'etat and took over, or when that constitution kicks in or kicked in? What do you think? However, his supporters say his term only began in 2017 when a new constitution came into force, or even after general election in 2019 that saw him retain power. Under those terms, he could technically continue serving until 2027 if he wins an upcoming general election. On Wednesday, Thailand's Constitutional Court agreed to hear the case from political opposition. The bench of judges ruled 5-4 in support of his immediate suspension. It's unclear when the court will deliver its ruling on Mr. Prayut's case. Now, protesters had earlier gathered outside the parliament building in the capital, Bangkok, demanding his resignation. The move means Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan, 77, will become the interim Prime Minister, according to the cabinet line of succession. Now, Thailand is due to hold a vote before May next year, although the Deputy Prime Minister had previously flagged it could be as early as November. All right then. Well, he's one who has held power, who has pocket power, who has actually wrestled things. Now, do you think that it is time, or he can actually turn around and say, no, I'm not going to hack into you, I'm going to do whatever I want to do? Well, it's all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, today marks Ukraine's 31st Independence Day. Well, people in Ukraine are marking the country's Independence Day amid tight security measures because of fears of renewed Russian strikes. Independence Day in Kyiv usually sees a massive military parade through the city center, but public events in the capital have been banned because of concerns they could become a target. It comes on the same day Russia's invasion of the country reaches the 6-month mark. Now, U.S. officials say Russia is likely to step up its efforts to attack civilian targets. Now, President Zelensky has vowed to liberate all of Ukraine's territories occupied by Russia without any concession or compromise. Now, tensions have been particularly high after explosion in Russia's occupied Crimea and assassination of the Russian political commentator Daria Dugina. Okay, so those are some of the stories making the rounds on Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One last story from the world front, and I will touch on another story from here. Rayshard Brooks, no charges in police killing that sparked some protests there in the US as well. The 2020 police killing of a motorist in the car park of a Georgia fast food restaurant was legally justified, a special prosecutor has ruled. Now, Rayshard Brooks, 27, was fatally shot about 3 weeks after the killings of George Floyd sparked international racist justice protests. Now, Brooks, who was black, was gunned down after fighting with 2 white officers who were trying to arrest him. Now, civil rights groups said a grand jury should have reviewed the case. Now, Brooks was detained during a traffic stop outside a Wendy restaurant in Atlanta on the 12th of June 2020. Now, body cam footage shows that he was asleep at the wheel and blocking a drive-through lane when officers approached. Now, for around 41 minutes of questioning, Brooks complied with the officers' request. After he failed a breath test, the officers moved to arrest him on suspicion of drink driving, and he began fighting them. CCTV shows he grabbed a taser from an officer, then turned and fired it at them as he ran away. He goes on further to say officers Garrett Rolfe opened fire on Brooks, hitting him twice in the back. He had initially faced 11 charges related to death, including murder. If convicted, he could have faced the death penalty. Now, Officer Devin Brosnan was charged with aggravated assault and violation of oath. Well, this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then. Now to the final segment of the program for this morning, and that is pertaining to what is happening here in the UK. Okay, now target of shooting that's killed girl 9 has been arrested. A man who was the target of that shooting has been arrested. The story says that a man who was targeted by a gunman in a shooting which left a young girl dead has been arrested and will be questioned over the killing. 9-year-old Olivia Pratt Cobell was shot at her mother as her mother struggled with 2 men, one armed with a gun, at the door of her Liverpool home on Monday night. The Merseyside police said a 35-year-old man who was also shot was held on prison recall and will be interviewed. It said the man, who had no links to the family, was stable in hospital. So what was he doing there? The force said earlier that officers had been given the same name by 2 different sources in the hunt for the gunman. Detective Chief Inspector Mark Baker said inquiries were continuing into the shocking murder of Olivia, and the force was supporting her family as they tried to come to terms with this tragedy. I would like to echo the words of our Chief Constable yesterday, appeal to the community to keep helping the family in every way possible, he said. We will do all we can to take all of these involved in gun crimes off the streets. As this arrest demonstrates, he added that this was not the time for anyone who knows who was responsible to stay silent. Now it is time for us all to make Merseyside a place where the use of guns on our street is totally unacceptable, and those who use them are held to account. If you saw, heard, captured, or know anything, tell tell us directly or anonymously, and we will continue to act. And that is where I bring the program to a close for today. Okay, because their parliament is in recess, or it's on recess, so we'll not be able to bring you that from there. But one other story, my producers want me to touch on that seriously, and that is the hosepipe ban. A hosepipe ban affecting millions of people has come into force in parts of southern England. The ban was imposed by Thames Water from 0 hours BST, that was today, and applied to 10 million customers across Thames Valley and London. Now, people will not be able to use hosepipes to water gardens, wash cars and windows, or fill paddling pools. The decision was announced earlier this month after reports of the River Thames reaching its lowest level since 2005. Those found to have breached the rules could be fined up to what? £1,000. Now, if you want to blow that £1,000, just bring it to me, okay? Don't waste it. Similar measures have been implemented by other water companies across Hampshire and Isle of Wight, Kent and Sussex, following the driest July since 1935. Now, Thames Water CEO Sarah Bentley previously said implementing the ban had been a very difficult decision, but she added reservoir storage levels in London and far more in Oxfordshire had reduced significantly. All right then. So that's why I bring the program to a close. As I said earlier on, I want to say have a lovely, jubbly day. And I promise you, I'm going to be coming your way with another edition of the morning show tomorrow. And God willing, by this evening, exactly at 18 hours, as we announced, Mr. Olayomi Koiki will be coming your way with Niger Voices. So make a date with him when he comes your way. Well, enjoy this song from Mika Paris, and it says something inside so strong. When that ends and you don't hear from me, then it's been me, Archie, saying have a top of the day, have a blessed day, and bye bye for now.
The taller I become, the further you take my rights away, the faster I will run.